Hello and welcome back, everybody. My name is Jamie Leonard here with TCG Unlimited. And surprisingly, maybe not so surprisingly, we are back after, nearly a 4-month hiatus. I can assure you that that was not on purpose. There are very good reasons why we've had to do this. It's major to me personally, but nothing really to do with the company. We've tried to work around things the best we could. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But for those of you that were around before we went off the air, right at the beginning of August, you guys knew I told you guys that I was getting ready for eye surgery. And that was going to be happening right at the beginning of August, and that hopefully I'd be gone for only about a week. We had a video plan to come out in the middle of that week to explain what was going on a little bit more in depth. But unfortunately, apparently something happened to the recording. The audio corrupted. The video uploaded when somebody checked it that Wednesday when it came out. They immediately noticed there was no audio, so they delisted and deleted the video, tried to fix it. Unfortunately, none of the other guys are as good with computers and all the recording tech and stuff that we use. They're not as good as me, so they really didn't know what to do. I've taken a look at it the best I'm able. I can't figure out what happened. We just lost the audio. So unfortunately, there was no video, and it just kind of appeared that we just kind of went radio silent. I can assure you that is not the case. Unfortunately, the first surgery that I had to have on August 8th did not go as planned. When they did the surgery to try to put a tube in my eye to try to drain the excess fluid off, my eye basically rejected it. There was a slight issue that the tube shifted, was mashing on my eye, which it wasn't supposed to. But within a week of them doing it, and then they were going to go back the very next week and fix it, just shift it, move it, whatever you want to say. My eye basically had rejected it. My eye completely clouded over, and I couldn't see anything out of that eye. And you guys know I've already had damage in my left eye, so my left eye is not that great. I've basically, for the last year, primarily focused all of my vision out of my right eye anyway, which I've done, all of my life for the most part. I've always kind of naturally focused all of my eyesight through my right. So that was no big deal. But that eye freaking out, rejecting the tube, and then basically blinding myself, that was a very defeating blow to me. It took about 2 weeks for the haze on my eye to go away, but in doing so, some of the steroid drops that I was taking to try to help clear it up faster caused a cataract to develop, and as of right now, that cataract is extremely bad. I basically can't see anything out of my right eye. It's just a giant white haze. So I've been left in a position where I've been out of work. I haven't been able to work at the shop. I haven't worked my normal job. I haven't been able to do a whole lot in about 4 months now, ever since August. So I've been left in this really weird position. I'm basically reduced to laying in a bed looking at the ceiling. And I was going crazy. I tried to get back into the store. I tried to record stuff for Magic in the last couple of weeks. But unfortunately, because of the way Magic Online is, I can't see well enough out of my one good eye right now. I couldn't read the cards very well, even though I've memorized just about everything in our decks. I couldn't see well enough to operate the game and, hit controls. Anything that has a bright background just basically made it impossible for me to see. And no matter how much I tried, I just couldn't. I got some games played, but not very good ones. And they don't really give a good representation of just how difficult some things are for me to do. However, for those of you that may have already played the demo for Vanguard, the demo came out about a week ago. We've been playing it. I've been playing it to the best of my ability. Thankfully, with the mechanic of being able to make the cards larger, pull up a separate text box for the effects, I can see that well enough with my bad eye to play it. So I knew I wanted to try to get us back to streaming, get us back to doing things, and this is, for the time being, going to be how we're going to do that. The cataract surgery, I actually had an appointment with my doctor today. Not great news. Basically, the cataract is basically covering my entire eye now. So they wanted to wait a little bit more before trying to remove it, but now it's gotten so bad that they're going to have to remove it sooner. So I'm looking at possibly another month until the surgery. I've got to go see a specialist next week. They want to take precautions just in case something goes wrong. They have somebody that can step in and help. So it's kind of a bad situation for me personally, but we're working through it. The guys at the shop have been phenomenal at helping me keep my work up. I truly could not be more blessed with the company that I work for. TCG Unlimited has been absolutely amazing. These guys are some of the best people I could have ever met. Some of the greatest guys I've ever had the pleasure of working with. You know, these owners have worked with me nonstop. They've called me just about every day to check on me. They've bent over backwards, anything that they could possibly do to accommodate, to help me out. But unfortunately, I'm in the situation where I really can't do anything. I can't see my phone, so I don't know when someone's calling me, I just have to answer it. I can see well enough to swipe to answer, that's about it. I can do minor things on the computer as long as it's like, you know, a black background with white writing or just very subtle colors or very dark colors. I can see it better. So there's been a lot of things that are going on with me, but we're working through it. Hopefully we're going to get this cataract removed here in the next month. And within a week or two after that, you know, assuming nothing else goes wrong, we're going to get back to normal. We're going to get back to doing all the things that you guys have enjoyed watching us do. And I'm really looking forward to trying to get back into the groove of doing things. I've just not felt myself after all of this. You know, to some degree, it's really taken a toll. It's really beaten me up. You know, I'm not used to just laying around my house. I very much love doing things. I love getting out, you know, interacting with people. I love being active. So being put into this situation, it's really kind of taken the toll on me, but I'm not going to let this beat me, and I want to get back into doing the things that I enjoy doing. So for now, this is how we're going to do it. For those of you that don't know, Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days is the first Vanguard game that has come out in English. It's not the first game. There have been several others that have only been released in Japan. So we're only in Japanese. I've tried a couple of them in the past. They're not great. They're okay for what they are, but they're not great. This is the first game that's been released in English. You know, ever since this game was announced back closer to the start of the year, everybody was, you know, super hyped for this game. I'm very excited to play this with you guys on stream and work on some things off screen. I've got a lot of friends that are going to be playing, so we're going to have a lot of extra commentary coming up soon. If I can get somebody online to play, maybe even tomorrow, we'll do some things. So be looking forward to possibly me streaming this for several hours for the next couple of days. Tomorrow I'll be releasing... Well, tomorrow during the stream we'll be talking about the game in general. I don't want to go too much into it today. But the game just came out today. It was actually a day early. So I don't really understand that. But we're going to be playing this today. We're going to be playing it tomorrow. And so we're going to really be kind of getting into this, getting some stuff done, and really trying to enjoy the game. So I don't want to waste too much more time. So let's get right into it. Like I said, I've played the demo, so I already know, you know, the controls for the most part, and I'm glad that you can play this entire game essentially without ever having to use a mouse. Because right now, I can't see the mouse. So that's great. So basically the way I want to do this is I'm not going to bother trying to read it just because, you know, no one's going to care. I'm going to have to read a little bit slower because of my vision. So if you guys want to read it for yourselves, feel free. If not, just take your time. I'm going to try to enjoy this story. This is supposed to be like an original story, so I really want to enjoy it. So if you guys want to comment on anything, feel free. We'll try to make adjustments to try to let you guys enjoy this as much as possible as well. But for now, let's just, get into it. I wonder if this is essentially just going to start out the same way that the demo did with the initial story. I kind of thought maybe like it was just a demo story because I didn't want to kind of spoil the actual story, but it looks like we're going to get the same story. What I'm curious about is, did they patch all the extremely bad translations? And I'm hoping that they did. Otherwise, for those of you that don't know, the controversy in the last few days is this game is $70. I mean, we're going to talk about that kind of stuff tomorrow for sure. But for those of you that may be considering getting this game, I would highly suggest wait till tomorrow. Come back to the stream. Let's talk about it. Because like I said, this game is $70. I just don't feel good at the moment saying buy this. I mean, for the gameplay, it's going to be great. But saying $70 is great, I don't feel good about. Not yet. Let's see how the stuff goes. So, but the translations being fixed, that's going to be a huge plus in the game's favor on whether or not I could say $70 is justifiable. One thing I immediately see is they didn't really adjust. I saw somebody mention it. I noticed it when I was playing the demo, but I didn't think too much about it. But take a second and look at the character's shoulders. They made these characters have incredibly large shoulders. I don't quite get that. I think it's kind of funny, but at the same time, like I said, the first time I didn't really pay much attention. I noticed it, but I just kind of immediately put it out of my mind and went on. But, so the fact that they didn't really do anything about that is kind of surprising, but, hey. I'll give you guys just a second to look at this. It's going to kind of give you a quick preview of the character, their background, whatever. All this stuff is kind of, pretty available on the actual game's website and whatnot. So we won't spend too much time on this, but this is your main character. Which I do like the idea of going with a female lead. I do like it. It provides some new fresh air into the game. We get the typical protagonist of super helpful jack of all trades kind of student that discovers the game for the first time and kind of gets hooked on it. Okay, here we go. So, no lose intended. I understand the saying that they were going for. They were kind of going for the I don't intend to lose kind of phrase. And it just kind of gets lost in translation. But to just read no lose intended is just kind of weird to me. Is that kind of weird to you guys, or is it just me? To me, it just sounds weird reading it. This is the little brother. Interesting kind of a character. I do like the way they kind of wrote him. Seems kind of cliche to some degree, but at the same time, I think he's kind of interesting. I'll give you guys just a second. And just for the sake of going through the tutorial, I'm gonna do the tutorial, even though I've basically been playing Vanguard since the game came out. I'm still gonna do the tutorial because I'm kind of interested to see if they may have fixed the any of the just the horrible translation, misspellings, all that good stuff. And that kind of gives you guys an idea, you know, if you guys are new to the game, new to Vanguard in general. Kind of gives you a quick overview of how to play. I'll kind of go over if they didn't change any part of the demo or the tutorial fight language, then I'll kind of summarize what they spent, you know, a paragraph to say. And essentially here she's basically decided she's gonna follow him because she seems to have this idea that he's sneaking around with a girl, which I do find, you know, again, very cliche, but at the same time, it does make for easy, good writing. You know, and for such an expensive game, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more voice acting than this. But, again, I guess to some degree, you don't expect too much as far as that goes. I will essentially never attempt to pronounce his name. But this guy is essentially the owner, and will be doing most of the card shop owner stuff, and he'll be the ones we buy all the cards and stuff from. So you'll be seeing him from time to time. I think he takes like a minor kind of back roll to everything. Alright, so let's see. Skip fight tutorial. Okay, you can access the fight tutorial from the menu at any time. No, we want to do the tutorial. Because I'm interested to see if they cleared any of this translation issue. Alright, let's see. Vanguard is a one-on-one card game. We are the Vanguard. We are the Vanguards who lead existences called units such as monsters or knights. Okay. Let me show the zones to place cards. Okay. The zone you place units is called the field. That center circle is a Vanguard circle. Place a Vanguard, which is your avatar. Alright, those 5 surrounding ones are Rearguard circle, where you place allied units, rearguards. You still could have said rearguard circles. You don't have to make it singular there. But that's still not as bad as just completely slaughtering the English language like they did before. This is Guardian Circle. You can place units for guarding with... Now moving on to Damage Zone. Whenever you take damage, a card is placed here. Okay. And if you have 6 or more cards on Damage Zone, you lose that fight. Okay, that could have just been 6 or more cards in the damage zone. That would have been a better way of saying that. Which means you can win with dealing 6 damage to your opponent first. Although I will say to anybody that's new, just keep in mind this is just in general. The general most accepted way of winning. There are actually several different ways you can win a game, not just through damage. But this is just traditionally the most common way. Here's the main deck. And Ride deck is beside it. Ride deck consists of 4 cards in total, including unit cards, with each of grades 0, 1, 2, and 3. I'll explain about the grades later. Okay. This is the trigger zone. During drive check of your Vanguard's attack and damage check whenever you take damage. I think that was one of the issues that I had. It looks like they may have cleared that up. We'll see in a minute. You'll reveal a card on top of the deck here. This is drop zone. Cards already used or discarded are dropped here. Next, about cards in detail, this is a unit card. The value here shows its power. In each battle, each unit's power is compared with the larger it is. Okay, that's not so great. The stronger the unit is, this value is shield calculated for guarding your allied unit. I'm interested to see when it's going to mention the critical, if they corrected and spelled critical correctly. We'll find out in a second. This is the grade. Is shows. Okay, here we go. Is shows the strength of the card. The greater grade has stronger power and abilities. The grade rises through the fight. We're growing together. Okay, now I don't think they changed anything. No. And I know there's some people that have posted videos like clearly calling this out. The first time I played the demo, I paid this no attention. I just read it and it just clicked, you know. But this is critical. Like, really, you can't even spell critical correctly? It's literally right here on the card, highlighted, zoomed in. All you had to do was look down as you type this text into the game. I mean, that's bad. So no, they changed nothing. The translation in the demo in the tutorial fight is still absolute garbage. It shows the value of damage dealt when its attack hits opponent's Vanguard. I mean, granted, now you can still just easily patch this and fix it, but you have an English, you have an English translation department. Like, did you really use Google Translate to do the job for you? The card's name is here. And here's its text. The abilities... Ooh, excuse me. The abilities of card are written here. Okay, now... If you want to confirm in detail about a card, point the cursor at it and press C to show it with larger image. That actually does not work. You do actually have to click it to select it and then hit C. Don't let that throw you. Then by pressing C again, you can confirm the larger text. Which I'll be doing a lot, again, because I can't really see. And I don't play a lot of the standard stuff, so I'm not familiar with a lot of these cards. Okay, now it's time to prepare for fight. First of all, you need to set the first Vanguard. Place a grade 0 unit from your ride deck onto the Vanguard circle face down. It'll be placed automatically in the game. Yeah, that's great. Then determine which fighter to go first. Try rock, paper, scissors. The winner should go first. So it doesn't really matter what we choose here. I think we automatically lose no matter what. I know we go. We go first no matter what. So now we draw our hand. And so basically what I can do is, well, after it lets me move around the cards. The cards are your hand. You can use... The cards are your hand you can use during the fight. Like come on, man. A 5-year-old could translate this better. Your hand is closed and unseenable. That's not a word. From the opponent. And if you got any cards that you don't need, you can redraw them only once. Choose trigger units at this point. Okay, so basically what it wants us to do... Okay, well, it's going to explain what a trigger... unit cards have subtypes, normal units, and trigger units. Essentially, normal unit, anything that doesn't have the little squared symbol at the top right. And then a trigger is the ones that do have the little squared symbol at the top right. Basically, it looks like this. You know, this is a critial, as they call it. A trigger unit has an icon on the top right. Yeah, pretty much like I said. I'll brief you about them later. You'll basically hit one of every trigger in the game to allow the game to explain what those are. Select the card to exchange. So basically what this wants us to do is kind of go back and forth. And basically what I can do is I can just use left and right on the arrow keys to play through the hand. So I don't have to use a mouse, which is great. I can press C, brings up the picture, press it again. You get this text that actually shows the text of the card. So if it has an ability, you can, you know, look through it and see the cards. Press it again, it goes away. So, like I said, I'll be doing that a lot just because I don't know a lot of the standard stuff. So let's get this up just so I can... Alright, so it wants me to choose all the trigger units, so that would be this one, this one, this one. I believe that's it. And then what you'll do is you'll hit V to confirm. And essentially those cards will go back to the deck, and then you'll draw a new you'll draw those same number again. And now the game begins. Flip your first Vanguard and saying, "Stand up, Vanguard." Alright, each turn consists of 6 phases. A turn starts from stand phase. At this phase, stand your cards that have been rested during previous turn. Place your cards vertically upright, essentially means stand, that have been placed horizontally. Turn sideways, rested, last turn. You don't need to do it if there's no rested cards. Then move to draw phase. Draw a card on the top of your deck. Next, ride phase. You can ride a unit that has the same or greater grade than that ridden Vanguard. And to be more precise, each turn you're allowed to essentially ride a grade equal to the current Vanguard or one higher, unless an effect does otherwise. That's a little misleading and could be worded better. There you can choose a unit to ride with in hand. Let's use your ride deck here. And essentially ride deck just acts like a second hand. When you ride from the ride deck, you need to discard a card in hand. So basically, Vanguard implemented a ride deck, which essentially makes it where you can't get screwed in terms of getting the exact ride cards that you want. For like specific ride chains, which, you know, for those of you that don't know, you'll learn what that means. As you progress through the game, you'll see that there are cards that have benefits from, you know, specific units being played on top of each other. So that's where the ride deck kind of solves it. It kind of takes some of the unfortunate situations in the game that can occur, and it basically guarantees that you're able to play a progressive game and not just really get unlucky in your opening hands. But here it's going to want us to choose a card, so we'll select our ideal one, and then it wants me to select this one to discard. We'll say V to confirm. It rides it automatically at that point. After that, main phase, you can call rear guards or activated abilities. You could just say activate abilities, but, you know, hey. Rear guards are allied units that fight together. And a call is to place a unit onto rear guard circle. Only rear guards as the same or less grade than Vanguard can be called. Call a grade 1 behind your Vanguard if you have one. I remember, like, typically back in the old days you didn't do this, but in the newer iteration it's actually okay. So again, we'll select and confirm, and it will basically automatically, pretty much always just assume the circle that you want it to go to. Most of the time it does a pretty good job, I feel. But now we'll press W to manually proceed to the next phase. We'll hit enter to say yes, go to combat. However, since you go first, you can't. The person that goes first can't attack. So now he's gonna begin his turn, draw his card. He's going to discard for his preferred grade 1. Make his play. The grade 0s in standard typically have the effect of when you ride your first grade 1, if you went second, you get to draw a card, which to some degree helps with the ever so slight disadvantage of going first. I don't necessarily agree that it's really a disadvantage. You know, that's kind of been proven over the years that that's not really a thing. But essentially the game wants to make sure you know that, you know, they're taking into account, they're trying to eliminate luck and make the game more about skill, but in doing so, I think you made it more about luck than it ever has been before. So he's going to get his extra draw. He's going to play his additional rear guard. Now, essentially, he's not going to want to overextend his field, so he's just going to go ahead and go to combat. He's going to explain that if you attack a rear guard, it's basically retired, it's destroyed. It goes to your graveyard, or drop zone, whichever, you know, technical term you choose to use. Or if you attack a Vanguard, the opponent's Vanguard takes damage. In this case, since I have no rear guards for him to attack, he can essentially only attack my Vanguard. But because he has a card behind it that is a grade 1 or 0, he can boost it, adding their powers together as shown by this symbol here. Typically, it's a symbol you'll only find on grades 1 and 0. Though there are effects in the game that add the symbol to cards. But obviously, just looking at a vanilla card, the only time you'll see the symbol is on 1s and 0s. Don't think too much. My advice to anybody that's learning the game: don't think too much into it. At the first, you know, just get used to playing the game, the phases, the way the cards, you know, move from zone to zone, all that good stuff. Just learn that first, then worry about all the complicated effects, because Vanguard gets very complicated, especially here in Standard. So basically he's going to explain the fact that way powers work, If powers are equal or greater, then the attack succeeds. Here he's basically gonna... And see, here they spell critical correctly. That's what I don't understand. If you can spell it once correctly, you can spell it every time correctly. He's basically going to explain the damage dealt is the same value as the critical of an attacking unit. Essentially, just keep in mind, by default, every card in Vanguard has a critical of 1. Just by default, you'll never see it. If you do see a card that has more than one default critical, it's usually a promotional. It's a gag card. It's not legal to play. So, by default, every card has a critical of 1. Just, you know, that's one of those kind of facts you can kind of just look at and go, yeah, okay, and then move on. And basically he's explaining that you could block it, but at this stage of the game, this early on, there's no point. It's not really worth it. So now it wants us to hit V to confirm. Confirm again. The only thing I don't like about the game is confirming twice to not block an attack. That's just a little weird to me. And now because he's attacking with his Vanguard, he'll reveal the top card of the deck for a drive check. There's no trigger icon, so therefore nothing happens. The card will simply go to his hand and nothing else. Now, since he attacked my Vanguard, I'll take 1 damage. Again, since his Vanguard is a critical of 1 with no modifications due to effects, I'll take exactly 1 damage. We'll reveal, we get a draw. So basically, triggers are only work when they're revealed during drive or damage checks. So here we'll apply the effects. Like I said, this is a draw, so just basically we get to apply an extra 10,000 power to any unit of our choice, and then draw an additional card. Currently in Standard, there are 4 different types of triggers: draw, front, critical, heal. Technically there's a 5th, there's stand, but they removed stand in favor of front for some reason. I don't really understand that, but whatever. You just kind of go with whatever harebrained scheme Bushy Red comes up with at this point. So it wants us to assign power. So we'll give that power, confirm it. So now for the rest of our turn, our Vanguard will have a continuing 18,000 power for the rest of the turn. Basically, it's just it's used defensively to just make it harder for them to hit us. So essentially, if she'd had another 8,000 rear guard, wouldn't be able to hurt us. Now he has no cards left to attack, so essentially his turn just ends. So now, if we had had any rested cards, we would have stand, and then draw our card for the turn, go to our ride deck, and it wants us to discard what? You. And discarding draw triggers for your ride deck is usually going to be probably the preferred play. Let's see. Main phase, yep. Don't forget calling units, yep. So now that we're grade 2, we can play grade 2s. Typically, this is where you start wanting to try to consider getting a slight bit more aggressive. Playing aggressive typically... the rate of aggression play in the new standard format is actually much higher than it used to be. Typically, you'd play 1 grade 2, maybe the first additional grade 1 rear guard to boost something, but you typically don't have 3 rear guards on turn 2, unless your deck is very much designed to go very fast. So now it wants us to go ahead and go to combat since we don't want to play anything else. Because typically throwing down this many cards is just asking for something to go wrong. Now granted, it's a demo, so, you know, everything's scripted. But we're going to attack for 10, because see, essentially, if we attack for 10, if he gets a trigger, our other 10 does nothing. And then you're saying, well, I have to hit with this 10, hit with my Vanguard, get a trigger, give it to the other rear guard. That's a lot of ifs for the stars to align to justify playing 3 cards. Because there were decks back in the old days where this would get you very much behind. This would be very punishing. Trying to go aggressive like this typically did not end well. But in Standard, it's a lot more accepted. So now we're going to attack. He's going to choose not to try to block. We're checking. We'll get our critical. So typically there's actually 2 effects that actually happen here. And he's essentially going to explain that you can actually like separate the effects. You can give each of the power and the critical to different cards or to the same. It doesn't matter. You know, it's essentially your choice. Typically, if your attack is already guaranteed to hit, there's no point in wasting the power. So you always give it to something else. Or to a card that hasn't attacked, like he's basically saying here. So it'll give you a prompt to tell you which effect you're choosing first. So typically you would give the Vanguard the critical, and then the 10,000 to something that can still attack. It's usually a very common thing. So we'll go ahead and confirm that. And then, and again, during a drive check, all cards that were revealed simply go to our hand and nowhere else. During damage check, they go to the damage. And now, because our Vanguard had a critical of 2 thanks to the trigger, he actually reveals 2 cards. So no check on the first one. He gets his draw this time. So he'll give his Vanguard the power off the second trigger, but unfortunately he's still 3,000 too weak to prevent our attack. However, he's already taking 3 damage, so taking a 4th one all in one turn, typically not a bad idea. So now he's going to explain guard. So basically you can call units from your hand whose grade is equal to or lower than your Vanguard, unless an effect says otherwise. The shield power is typically printed on the side of the card. Your Vanguard's power is 20,000, and now mine is 23,000 in total. So effectively, my attack goes nowhere. And then at the end of the battle, any cards that you use to guard with are destroyed and go to your drop zone. So now we'll go to his turn. He'll actually move to his grade 3. Oh no, I'm sorry, grade 2, because I forget we went first. So now he'll go through his typical... Okay, so now he's going to go straight to combat. And this is typically what you would see, is grade 2, grade 1, grade 2, and go to combat. Typically here what you'd see would be the rear guard attack first, but again, in the new standard format, it's much more common for the Vanguard to swing first, especially if you know that you run front triggers. Front triggers give power to the entire front row, kind of as its name suggests. Oh, it wants me to hit... Basically, you'll hit V to if you choose you don't want to guard. Yep, so he'll get his front trigger, and he's basically going to explain that that gives power to the entire front row. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a full front row. So it's essentially his front trigger is effectively wasted. Because now it's no different than, you know, a vanilla draw trigger. But you don't get to draw. So basically his trigger was just give one card 10,000. So it's always best to play your cards in accordance with how you know your deck plays. Let's see, I think it, wants us to not guard here. And that's fine. No triggers on either one of those. His turn will end. We'll stand, draw, and then we'll go to our grade 3. Discard this guy right here. And let's see. Okay, so now it just wants us to go straight to combat. And see, typically here in the old days, what you would probably do here, you'd use one of your rear guards to kind of snipe off theirs. Because, sure, it's not an attack on the Vanguard, but it is an attack on their resources. And depending on the clan, that's a big thing. But since clans don't exist in a sense in Standard, the new Standard, not so much, but that's why I don't really care for Standard. I think it's just they did away too much with what made Vanguard unique. But he's going to choose to intercept. Basically, intercept is an ability unique to only grade 2s. Again, there are abilities that give it. But for the most part, this is an ability only on grade 2s as shown by the little symbol here. Which allows them to move from their front row rear guard circle to the guard circle. And it works just like any other defensive card. So once it has been blocked with, it goes to the drop. So now our Vanguard. Now here he's going to explain that grade 3s have the unique ability Twin Drive, which basically allows you to do a drive check twice. Again, there are abilities that give this and take it away. But for the most part, this symbol just represents Twin Drive, and it will be present on all grade 3 units. We will get to the other symbol in a little while. So our first check, no trigger there. That's actually, I think, an order card, which is kind of like we're trying to get into magic territory because there's spell cards now. So it still resolves similar to not a trigger. It just goes to your hand like normal with a drive check. And each order cards, play differently depending on their intended use. Some can be used on your turn. Some can be used on your opponent's turn. Some can only be used under certain circumstances. Again, it's just a mechanic I'm not crazy with. You probably won't see me playing it a ton. But here we're going to hit her critical. Giving the critical there, power there. First check, he's not going to get anything. I believe the second check is a heal. Oh no, not quite. He just gets it on. I think he gets the heal on his turn to explain what a heal does, which we'll wait and explain that in a moment. But again, now that we're going to attack with a 20, he's going to need at least 15k shield to block this. And he gets it. Now he goes to his preferred grade 3, and typically when both players get to their grade 3s, this is typically where the game gets interesting, and really the more unique variations of the decks start to present themselves, in a sense. You'll start to see a lot more of the unique mechanics and playstyles that each clan, or in this case, in standard format case, each nation, the unique ways that each nation plays differently than the others. Okay, so 13, it just wants us to not block here. Typically, I would have blocked here. There's no reason not to. Sure, you get the draw here, but again, I just think it's kind of a no-brainer, don't block this. Or, you know, no-brainer, block this, don't block the next one. You leave open the potential for at least one critical, because the problem here is if you don't block the Vanguard and they get 2 critical, then you lose. And sure, the odds of that are low, but you'll ask any veteran Vanguard player, they'll tell you it happens. The odds are low, but it happens, and it happens a lot. Even though as kind of contradictory as those two statements sound, you know, doesn't happen a lot, but it happens a lot. I mean, no truer statement has ever been made. And now he's essentially going to explain the Perfect Guard system. It's a unique card with the Sentinel text that just says, essentially it just says this card can nullify any attack, but the cost to activate this effect is discard a card. So no matter how powerful the attack, this card guarantees it doesn't matter. So basically we'll play it like normal, confirm that we're blocking with it, activate its effect, and then it wants us to discard a card for its cost. Again, technically I would have never discarded a trigger here. I would have probably discarded the order card. But now it wants us to confirm that we're done guarding, which will be when they, you know, declare the Perfect Guard. He gets his heal trigger here. Alright, so now I'm going to explain this one specifically because the original demo translation was just horrendous here. And just outright wrong. So it says... heal trigger allows to recover a damage, but it's only available if you have the same or more damage than your opponent. Now, here we go. Okay. Okay, alright, so they did fix this. They fixed this, but they didn't fix the rest. Because here it says, I have 5 damage, you have 4. So I can recover 1. In the original demo, for those of you that played, you will remember this original text said, I have 4, you have 5, therefore I can heal. That's just flat wrong, which this bothers me because this is clearly changed. So you clearly acknowledge that something was wrong, but you didn't fix anything else. So if your damage is equal or more than your opponent, you do get to heal a damage. So now he goes back to 4. And basically here he's explaining that he's activating his Vanguard's ability, which says when this unit is placed on rear guard, if your Vanguard is Hexa Orb, Sorceress, Soul Blast 1. Look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 cards from among them. Put them on the top of your deck in any order, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Second effect, auto rear guard. When your drive check reveals a trigger unit, counterblast 1, and this unit gets 10,000 power until the end of turn. Basically, counterblast is using the face-up cards in your damage zone as a cost. So essentially look at it as a secondary resource. That's why you have to take damage, but you don't want to take too much. So it's basically find a balance. But you know what? There is a second text that comes up. I think maybe not on our player's turn. Maybe it's the next our player's turn where we hit a heal trigger. And that's where the text was incorrect. I'm thinking it might have been that one, but let's see. So attack the Vanguard with the rear. You'll see he's at 30. We're only at, what, 10? No, 23. So choose our rear guard here to intercept. Again, this is typically something I wouldn't do. Unless you already had a better grade 2. We already see multiple others. Still, just not something I probably would do here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. And then it wants us to choose this one to guard with as well. And then confirm. I like a lot of the animations. The animations look very clean. And I really like the perfect guard animation. That looks very nice. So they did a very good job with some of this. I just think the translations could have been cleaned up a lot better. Again, it's an easy patch, but still. I just think it would take very little effort to have somebody kind of proofread through your script and say, hey, look, guys, this makes no sense. We can cut down half the script by simply making it sound like an English person wrote it. And here they're going to explain the second symbol, Persona Ride. Essentially, it's riding an exact same copy of the grade 3 you have on field with a card in your hand. That is essentially the exact same card. Therefore, the Persona Ride ability activates, in which you will get an additional 10,000 power, plus any additional effect that triggers because of the Persona Ride. Oh, and you draw a card also. I did forget about that. So it's basically, there's no downside to this. You just, you get some extra power and you draw the card to replace the one you used. So now it wants us to play this. Play this. This unit's placed on rear guard. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards and retire it. Okay. And this basically explains Soul Blast, and the area under your current Vanguard is considered the Soul. Again, it's a secondary resource. In the old days of Vanguards, there were some clan that very much heavily leaned into this mechanic. Some that sometimes touched it, but not all the time. But in Standard, it's kind of everybody does it. So again, not a big fan of Standard, just because I kind of feel like it took some of the uniqueness out of a lot of the Vanguard cards. So yeah, it wants us to Soul Blast that one. Basically, this allows us to target one of his cards and retire it. So basically, therefore, reducing the number of cards that he has to block with. Again, this was a very common strategy back then. So now, thanks to Persona Ride, our entire front row gets 10,000 power. So we're attacking for 20. He'll need at least 15 to block. Actually needs at least 10 to block. Yeah, okay, so it is this turn, because he goes to 5. We're going to hit a heal this turn. And I'm curious if this is where the bad text was. So he's going to perfect guard, because he's at lethal. If this attack goes through, we win. And I promise you, playing against me in this game, if you're at 5 damage and you go to 3 cards in hand, that is like blood in the water. Like, there's no coming back for you at this point. Okay, so front, could have used that earlier. Our character's going to make a comment about that. No, still no heal. Okay. I think we check, or defensive check it on his turn, so. But she comments on, in a minute, the fact that we got a front trigger, and you know, if we'd attacked with the Vanguard first, we would have had enough power to survive or to win the game that turn. Potentially, it's not guaranteed, because you have to remember he's at 13. You know, he still had an extra grade 2. He still has an unknown card in hand, which could be a 15k shield. So he still had potentially a 20k guard. But yeah, you untap with lethal damage and a single card in hand. Typically, this is where the game just doesn't go your way. But again, you know, tutorial fight, plot armor, whatever you want to call it. We do lose this fight inevitably. I do love like the animations for the Persona rides. Those look absolutely amazing. Okay, so essentially, yeah, this is where attacking with the Vanguard. She doesn't want to block. This is typically where I'd say block here. Because essentially what you would do is you'd really want to look at your hand and go, do I have a perfect guard or not? I believe the answer is no. Oh, we do, actually. I still block this, perfect guard the Vanguard, and you win. I mean, so this was just kind of bad play here. But again, tutorial fight, it's whatever. But yeah, okay, so let's see. So he's at 5, we're at 4. And you can basically see that as his top of his screen, bottom of ours. He's at 5 damage, 5 out of 6. We're at 4 out of 6. But okay, let's see. No recovery at this time because my damage is 5 and yours is 4. Yeah, okay, so yeah, this is completely wrong. He's at 5 damage, we're at 4, not the other way around. So anybody that plays this game, disregard this. This is absolutely wrong. I mean, obviously you can look at the screens and tell this, but for anybody that's just more reading and not really looking, this is misleading. The heal is if you have equal or more damage, and in this case, we in fact do not. Therefore, the heal does not occur. But we do get to give our Vanguard power, and that's always a good thing. But now we're both at lethal, so essentially, whoever deals the next point of damage wins. Okay, so basically it's going to have us use our Perfect Guard. Oh, actually it's not. So again, if we'd only used the Perfect Guard here, we still could have been fine, because you just block this one, Perfect Guard, you win. He has 2 cards in hand at best. I mean, this should have been an easy decision for any real player, but again, tutorial, scripted fight, we lose this fight no matter what. Because this is to explain over trigger. Because that's the only way you could possibly win at this point. So first check, nothing. And second check. And this is like the one part where the game really kind of got out of hand for me as far as standard. Over triggers are extremely broken triggers that honestly shouldn't exist, in my opinion. Because this is basically what it is. This is an over trigger. She questions what that is. It is a super strong trigger that each fighter may have only one of in the deck. So you can only have one over trigger in your deck. However, so sure, granted, you're 9 times out of 10 probably not going to see this card. As much standard as I've played, I think I've hit an over trigger once in like 100 games. So not always going to happen. And sometimes when it does happen, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Because, you know, if you get hit, it's your 3rd damage, you hit an over trigger, sure, you get, you know, 100 million power. But if that was the last card to attack for their turn anyway, then it didn't matter if you got 100 million power. But here it's just used as plot armor to say, hey, here's the only way I could have won, therefore I did. Because I willed the deck to give me my one over trigger in the entire deck just to let me win under very unlikely circumstances. But see, no critical, so if you'd block the rear guard, block the Vanguard with the Perfect Guard in our hand, that 100 million power doesn't matter. Because we would still be at 4 damage. And now the only thing that we can do is hopefully we reveal yet another heal trigger. And remember, that would essentially mean that we had to have 2 on top of each other on the top of the deck right now. That doesn't happen very often. I've seen it happen. It happens. But that's even more rare than the whole, you know, anything else in the game happening. But of course, we're not going to hit it. We lose, you know, letting the younger brother feel like he accomplished something. But basically, in Deer Days, you're going to be assigned points based on the things that you did during the game, or during that game. So if you lose, you're going to get 350 points. I think if you win, you get like 500. May have been 700, maybe. Attacked with 40,000 or more power, which you pretty much only ever do with like an overtrigger. Sometimes it's easier to do with some decks than others, but you know. You used a perfect guard. Your opponent drew an overtrigger. I'm assuming there's one that'll be probably more than 500 if you draw the overtrigger. Did a persona ride. Let me... 6 turns passed, retired 5+ opponent's units. And then it totals up, you get those points, which you can then use these points to buy decks, you can buy packs, probably sleeves, all that kind of cool stuff. Yeah, but you're surprised that you lost to a complete luck mechanic. That's not something you should ever feel bad about. And not something you should feel good about winning because of either. You win because of a completely luck mechanic that shouldn't exist. Vanguard has completely, in my opinion, walked away from what it was. And has basically stripped the game of all uniqueness. And it's just turned into just huge numbers, very generic effects, and overly complicated mechanics that shouldn't exist. It's gotten really crazy. And essentially, she's basically saying this isn't fair. I would typically I would implore anybody that's teaching somebody about the game, teach them about the overtrigger before you actually reveal it to win. Like, don't just keep that whole the existence of an overtrigger in your back pocket so your opponent doesn't know about it. I would honestly argue that's just not very fair. Because clearly, had our character known, that turn would have been very different.
Vanguard だけが持つ魅力ってやつだな。お姉ちゃん。
Excuse me. This is basically where she's going to ask about other decks and give you the ability to buy the decks. Alright, so here's where we're going to get into like the additional like specialized skills, the D-skill mechanic. So we acquire D-skill draw trigger. And I'll quickly go over that stuff. Card acquired. Oh, so we do get a card here. Let's see, can I press C to look at this thing? We can. So we get Verena Arcs. Okay, so this wasn't in the demo. You can actually get cards. And again, a lot of this is stuff I haven't seen yet, so I will be doing a lot of reading here. So let's see, Overdress. Overdress is essentially a unique mechanic exclusive to a certain archetype within one of the clan nations. This will probably be the deck that we play. This is the deck that I'm a little bit more familiar with. So for now, this will probably be what we play. I'll explain the Overdress mechanic later. So Overdress Trickstar. Okay, so typically, okay. Alright, when this unit is placed on rear guard, if it was Overdress, Counterblast 1, draw 2 cards, and this unit gets 5,000 until the end of turn. Okay. Alright, so you get 2 of those, which is cool. Okay, so try buying a deck. Okay, so the only thing that we do have available is the option to buy for now, which is fine. Okay, so there are actually more decks than there was. There's more decks in the full game than there was in the original. Than there was in the original demo. Now we can afford to buy 4 decks here because each one costs 1,000 points. Seal Blaze Maidens. This is one that I do want to play. This was an interesting deck type. It's basically all about equipments. So those of you that played Magic, you're already well aware of how this deck plays. It's basically White Weenie, just slap a bunch of nasty things on one card and go to town. So as I said, basically what we're going to do... No, that is not what I wanted to do. Now there are a couple decks. Actually, you know what? We probably will go ahead and buy a couple decks because there are things that I want to just play around with. But we will be mainly playing this right here, the Holy Dragon deck. So we are going to buy that one. You'll get your standard 4 copies of every card in the game except your starter here. But you'll get 4 copies of everything. We're just going to go ahead and just get all this new stuff off the screen. That's one thing I don't like in a lot of games, is having to get all that stuff gone. That's once you buy it, it's sold out. I don't care about Bruce. Like, I like the deck, but it's not my playstyle. I don't really. Yeah, I don't really care about Bastion. It's not like I have an issue with the deck. I just don't like it. Again, not my playstyle. Magnolia is a deck that I enjoy. It is certainly going to be a deck that I play. Because this essentially is what was originally Aquaforce. Sorry, I seem to have missed a comment. Let me see. Let's see what it was you said here. You have to give me a moment. It's hard for me to read comments sometimes. I want to play a Baron Magus deck. He looks cool. Cool as heck, yes. Granted, all the decks look very good. And for what they are, they all play very good. Like I said, I like the Magnolia deck. It's originally what was originally the Aquaforce clan-esque deck, which was a clan that I very much loved. You know, back then I kind of felt like the clan was essentially designed for me, because it was literally the exact playstyle that I played. So it kind of hurts me that the clan essentially doesn't exist anymore. But it is what it is. So let's kind of go through the others first, before I kind of make the other 3 purchases that we'll do. The police deck, I do like this. The Seraph Snow deck, I do like the idea of denying resources. This was typically like the Dark Irregular playstyle. This was typically the Link Joker playstyle, so I do enjoy this deck. This will definitely be one of our choices. Okay, so now like this one I wasn't familiar with, and I think these were like the DLC. I did grab a couple of the DLC, just so I'd have some options, and I think this was one of them. Or actually, this one, no, because this was not one of them. So I guess this was just an additional one. But this was essentially the Lyrical deck. I don't know much about Lyrical, I won't lie, so I don't know whether it's worth it. Now, again, the Blaze Maiden was essentially one of the decks when I first saw it, like the spoilers slowly coming out when this deck first released. I really enjoyed the way these cards looked. I really enjoyed the playstyle that the deck showed off. Never really got to play with it much, because there were a lot of things coming out around that time that for other games and such that unfortunately took priority, so I didn't get around to this. But we will be playing with this. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to get this one. And then I think what we do here is we get Police. And then we get Magnolia. Now don't get me wrong, eventually we're gonna stream and play with every deck in the game. I want to build, you know, literally hundreds of decks and play with them. So eventually we're gonna get around to everything. So for those of you that want to see specific things, don't worry, we're gonna get to it. But for now, this is what we're going with. Alright. So now we're going to get kind of introduced to like the movement mechanics and how you get around the map. So basically, characters you're familiar with and rivals you've never met await you in story mode. Main verses, this is basically where all your story stuff is going to be. You'll basically know it with the icon here. Characters with the free icon have a side story. You can learn like the side story, like more in depth about the characters from these. Here's where I kind of got confused, because you're going to see free and then free verse. There are two different things. Free verse, characters with the free verse icon allows free fight, which is just your typical garbage pail, you know, go fight generic people or generic, just basic decks to just get points, get used to decks, play around with things. This is probably what we'll be doing a lot of. to get some points, get some good decks together. And then the shop, which is basically what we just did. We'll go ahead and look at the D skills. D skills is special player ability to get advantages in fights. These are only available in story mode. Now, playing a game like Vanguard, I'm not a fan of this kind of mechanic because you don't get this mechanic playing for real. So, I might play around with this just for, you know, laughs. But I think when it comes to playing, like, the story and stuff, we're going to turn this off. And that's the thing, is you can turn this just completely off and play genuine generic Vanguard. And that's more of what I like. I don't want to win because I played an OP skill that doesn't actually exist in the vanilla game. But there's a bunch of these that do different things. You basically get more as the story progresses. You can basically set these anytime from the in-game menu. And so let's see. Alright, so C for bring up menu. Alright, so we've got D skill select. Let's gonna go in there. Alright, so basically, yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of these. Yeah, there's a bunch of these. During the demo, we only had access to one. Yeah, they're definitely fun skills. Like, I'm not gonna argue that, trust me. During the demo, I definitely played with the draw trigger basically activated the whole time, just to get more used to the game itself. And it is fun because essentially the draw trigger skill increases the chance to get a draw trigger in your drive check and damage checks. See, like, I want to see raw numbers. Like, this is going to be one of those when the game gets data mined. I want to see raw numbers. Like, what percentage? 10%? 5%? I want, like, when I play Vanguard, I kind of want the game to feel more generic. Like, I actually have to know how to build the deck. I actually have to know how to play my deck. Build it consistently and not build the deck around D skill. Because there's going to be a lot of decks where you're going to go, well, I'm not actually going to be playing draw triggers. I'm going to play more criticals than draw. Well, then this skill is completely useless. I don't want to become, you know, dependent on having a D skill. Now, like I said, we're going to play around with all of them because that's, you know, that's what we're going to do here on our channel. We're here for fun. Trust me, the last thing you're ever going to see from me is play competitive. I don't do competitive. I'm not a competitive person. I don't like playing serious. I like having fun. So, typically, yeah. Let's see, is it activated? It is not. But we will activate it because essentially the first few fights, I don't know if they'll keep them scripted the way they did or not, but we'll assume that they are. Let me see what this comment is. And again, guys, excuse me for... It's not easy for me to read comments. I've got a little bit of an eye issue going on right now. So please understand that I'm going to be a little slow reading things, a little slow reading comments. It's not that I'm just not trying. I just can't see very well right now. I'm dealing with a cataract that I've got to have surgically removed. And that's going to be at least a month away. So I'm relying on a bad eye, which is damaged. I have a very rare eye condition. So unfortunately, that part, there's nothing I can do with. So I'm kind of doing the best I can with what I've got. But let's see. I made a Phantom Blast Dragon. It's a lot of fun, but needs more support. Yeah. And I think doesn't some of that come with like some of the things that's going to come out here in the next couple of months with the expansion thing. I think that's where a lot of their support comes in. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but Phantom Blaster Dragon, it was always really good. You know, just like Dragonic Overlord was always very good. Blaster Blade stuff was always exceptional. Like, there was really never a time where Blaster Blade wasn't valid, wasn't a threat. Of course, me saying those names, anybody that's coming into this game for the first time has no idea what I'm talking about. But I did go ahead. We do have access to the DLC decks, the 3 DLC decks. So we do have those to play around with. So I do have the Phantom Blaster. I do have the Blaster Blade. I do have the Overlord. So we will be playing around with those. But for now, I want to play generic, like genuine overdress style decks. Just for the, just for the laughs. All right, so there's a free verse. Let's see. All right, so main. Okay, so that's basically... Alright, so basically you can just use your arrow keys to look around. Alright, so that's just these 2 spots for now. Where am I here? Okay, I don't know why my mouse isn't working. Or why this isn't letting me select. Yes. Let's see, let's check this comment real quick. Because I do see you. Trust me, I do see you. Hopefully I just wish it wasn't $70, but still willing to pay if enough content. See, I don't know for a game like this. Is it worth $70? Like, I hate to be that guy. I really do. Like, I don't like to be the guy that says, money has to be worth it. I mean, granted, that's what it is. I mean, I work for a card store, so I kind of have to say it, right? Like, it's logical for me to say it, really. But to say that you buy a base game for $70, a base game that has very bad translations, you're playing with only standard format cards, which, I don't like, but I'll get over it. So you're asking me to pay $70 for a game, $80 for a DLC pack, a DLC pack that costs more than the base game, and you're not getting a whole new game or like additional story or side story. You're just getting extra cards. You're basically paying a company $80 to take an extra couple of hours to scan in a couple more cards. Because you got to understand, they're already programmed in. So, yeah. It's just weird to me. Like, I just don't know if I justify spending nearly $200 on a card game. Well, on a video game for a card game. Let me put it that way. Spending $200 on a card game, that's everyday life, unfortunately. Ask a Magic player. You tell them that you spent $200 on Vanguard, they're going to go, wow, that's it? Alright, so just rebuilt my deck. Would you let me try it out? I sure would, because I want to get some points. Now you're going to ask me which deck I want to play. But it did not. It seems it did not give me access to my other decks. Or do you have to build them, I wonder? Or maybe the game hasn't recognized that I bought them yet. Maybe. That's fine, though. See, like the versus screen, I think the versus screens are beautiful. I like all of this. I mean, granted, it's a lot of the in-game and a lot of these menus are basically reskinned Vanguard EX fights, from the Japanese games. But, again, I guess you can't really complain considering we never got any of those games in English. And I'm very much used to, unfortunately, going second. I don't ever get to go first. Let me see. You can go back, because I don't like order. Let me pull this up so I can see what I'm dealing with here. You can stay, because we'll discard you for something. You're a vanilla. And Trickstar are ready. Yeah, you go back. You go back, because we already have you. So yeah, alright, we'll do that. We did not get our grade 3, but that's okay. We didn't get our grade 3, but that's okay. Alright, so we are going to ride our grade 1. Let's see. I think we have a draw tree. No, that's a front. Well, do we discard you now? I think we do. And again, you know, a lot of the V stuff is still fairly new to me, so I'll still be getting used to a lot of this. But we did get what now? Okay, we did get another 2. So we don't have to discard for a 2. Alright, we went second. I don't want to press the advantage. But we did still have our... Nope, we got rid of our 1. Probably not my most crowning achievement, but okay. So we'll go ahead and go to combat. Let me check this comment real quick. And I hate to can't keep slowing down like this. Once this other surgery is done, I really hope I get back to being able to do both very quickly. I do wish the actual screen-to-screen animations were a bit faster, but it's nitpicking at that point. Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, you're wanting you're wanting a game that you paid a lot of money for to kind of be feasible. So I don't really. Do you really call that nitpicking? You know. Okay, so we get our draw thanks to our D skill. And see, and that's what I don't like. It just basically guarantees your first trigger is always a draw trigger. Oh no, that was an over trigger. So, see, we get an over trigger turn 1, and now we have nothing for the rest of the game. We just used an over trigger for nothing. I'm not blocking this in hopes that he doesn't hit a trigger. We'll probably guard the next one. Because I'm going to play this similar to how I would back in the old day, and I want to see if it works. Alright, so you're at 15, I'm at 18. Yes, or I'm at 8. So all I need is realistically 10. No. Okay, so no. Alright, but what I do want to do... I don't know. If we're going to drop a 15, I think we just take this to the face, right? And then we just play the game, right? I think we'll do that. We'll play your rules. We'll play your rules, dear days. Okay. Okay, now it's acting right. No, we okay, so you press S here. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, why isn't it letting me decline using the ride deck? There's no point. Alright, so now we get one of our 4 copies of our grade 0, and we're gonna call it here for now because I don't feel confident going overdressed this turn. And we're just drawing all of our triggers. This is our perfect guard, right? Yes. Which we now have, what, 2 of? But we will go ahead and call... That was not where that was supposed to go. But we will go ahead and we're just going to normal call and call that there. Alright, so let's go play Vanguard the way I'm very much used to playing Vanguard. So we're going to go Vanguard, rear guard, rear guard. We're going to deny you resources. Vanguard to Vanguard. How bad do you want it? D skill activate. Draw trigger, of course. But we're going to give the power there. Okay, no trigger, that's good. Let's see, what did we draw? What did we draw? Another trigger. I'm getting good at drawing triggers. This is definitely how I play Vanguard. Draw all your triggers. Okay, so we definitely block here because he's laying us up for this. Alright, so we're no guarding this. And so like the grade 3 attack declarations, I like the animations. I like the in-battle activations. Heal trigger, okay. Ours doesn't activate this time, but that's fine. Yeah, we're gonna go Vanguard. So of course he's gonna attack our Verena. And that's fine. I kind of anticipated that. Because our grade 3 gets the Verena back, so we're okay with that. We basically game the system on that one. So we will ride from the ride deck this time. And we're basically going to be looking for that almighty draw trigger right there. We're discarding you. And let's see, what was yours again? Yours is the... Yes, okay. So yeah, we're going to use you. Choose a card to Soul Blast. We're going to choose you, because why not? And we're going to get you. We're going to reveal the Verena. I will say, like, the battle music hits hard in this game. I do like the in-game fight music. Like, eventually we'll probably have to take that out for copyright reasons, but for now, it's fine. Call. We're going to put you here because the other guys are going to be basically bait. And then we're going to go overdress. And basically overdress, for those of you that don't know, or for those of you that watch this on YouTube at a later date. For those of you that, so basically for those of you that watch this on YouTube at a later date as a recording for the stream, overdress, for those of you that may not know, is basically just placing specific cards on top of other specific rear guards, gaining special abilities. So basically like this. Basically, this guy just gets an additional power, gets additional effects. There's like a dozen of these versions of Arena at this point that do different things, which we'll get into as we get the cards. Let's see, I believe that's... No, we do have another of these. So we're going to call that there. That just gets that. Alright, so there are front triggers in this deck, if I'm not mistaken. So, we are going to bank on that very fact. Now, what yours is the all overdressed cards get 1,000, right? Yes. 3 damage out of 6. Yeah, sure, why not? As far as I know, this deck doesn't use a lot of counterblasts, so I'm okay with it. I think it does later on when you get the more advanced cards, but the starter deck doesn't really use a lot of counterblasts outside of Nirvana, so I'm okay with this. Draw trigger, okay. He's going to get 10,000 by default. So we're going to give it here. No trigger on this one. So anybody that says that the attack declaration animations don't look good, they're just lying. They're terrible liars. Then they should not be believed. Alright, so now we're going to go here. So 25. You're going to need at least 15. So now he's at 5. So now basically everything we throw at him is lethal. So again, 28. I want to see what he blocks with here. But it's not going to let me, is it? No. Oh, actually, it does, because the 10,000 is regardless. Then the Soul Blast ability comes after guard. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. Do we pay here? I think we do, right? Like, there's really no world here where we don't. And he doesn't have the power to guard. I'm surprised that he doesn't have a perfect guard there. But an easy win. Turn 3 win. I'll take it. Alright, so let's see. We get a win for set. We get 700 for the win. Attacked with 100,000 plus power. 600. Okay, yep. So it is like, what, twice what it was? 1 within 6 turns. Drew over trigger. So we do get... Okay, well, it's not quite double. I was thinking it was maybe 600 because the other was like 250, right? So I was thinking it was, well, no, I think it was like, was it 30? Was it 350? Or maybe it was 250. So in that case, it would be double. But either way, did a superior call? Yes, we did. We did, in fact, do a superior call. And drew 3+ times in 1 turn. So 2,500 is our total winnings. Yes, you lost. You lost to a player that has competed in multiple regional, national, and world championships. That's not anything to be too ashamed about there, bud. Though I don't like to play competitive, I'm very good at this game. Aurora, Battle Princess, Suppress Gleamer. Boy, they just got away with making some crazy names, didn't they? Alright, so continuous rear guard. If you have a Vanguard with Seraph in its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000. When this unit is placed on rear guard from hand, if 3 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned, in your prison, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as this unit. Call it to rear guard and shuffle your deck. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Oh man, he goes away? Why does he go away? Alright, so let's go back to the shop real quick. I want to see if the options change. Yes, it does. Okay, so cool. Now we get the full shop. Oh, and there are playmats even. Okay. I thought like the playfield was just randomly chosen, therefore there probably wouldn't be playmats. You can purchase cards and supplies from the card shop in exchange for your VP. Yes, we know this. There are 3 card shops in the three towns that the story is set in: Osen, Stray Cat, and Berserk. The products available at each shop is usually the same. I don't like the fact that they use usually. I don't like that. Don't make me go check 3 different card shops every time I complete a story mission just to see if something's different. Don't make me do that, please. Please, Bushiroad, don't make me do that. The VP is short for Vanguard Point. And it can be earned from story mode and the various fight modes, yes. I think anybody that has ever played Vanguard or a video game probably knows that. But the start decks at the shops are built such that even the beginners can fight immediately, and are most suitable if you are trying cards from a new nation. Yes, yes they are. Ooh, I like these. I like these sleeves. These sleeves look nice. These sleeves are crazy. I like these sleeves. I usually don't like playing sleeves in digital card games just because it kind of gives a more realistic, you're in the anime fight where they don't use card sleeves except for the new series, which again makes no sense. But, you know, sure. But the card sleeves look nice. I like that. Those are very cool sleeves. The little chibi ones are nice too. God, you're gonna make me play Vanguard you're gonna make me play this game just to buy sleeves. I'm not playing it for cards, I'm playing it for sleeves. Apart from getting cards from packs, you can spend CP to craft cards too. First, show details of cards that you own 3 or less pieces of, from deck building or collection. You can press C from here to spend CP and craft cards. When you already own 4 of the same cards, the 5th card and more will be automatically converted into CP. That is definitely the sentence I wanted to hear. I did not want to have to manually do that. I would, but I really don't want to. All right, let's see what the packs look like. I'm very interested in what these packs are going to look like. All right, is it like the original set packs, or is it character packs? Okay, so Genesis is the 5 great. So yeah, it is set packs. I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. So I think we do want this pack if we're going to be playing Verena. So let's get some packs. 300 VP per pack. Is it automatically going to deduct? It is not. Okay. Alright, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just start with 5 for now. Alright, do we go automatically open them? I hope so. Alright, do I get to open them one at a time? I do. I don't know you. Oh, we got something there. It's not, I don't think that's anything we care about. That's a nice foil. Again, I don't think it's anything we care about. Alright, can we go back to it and look at it? Alright. Aegis Dragon. Okay. That's a nice trigger. I like the art on that one. Unfortunately, like I said, due to my vision, I can't really see a lot of these anyway. So we're going to be dealing with this pretty much, you know, behind the scenes. I just want to see what we're going to get. Well, we just got another Verena. I like this art. I don't know why. I really like this art. So I really want to try to get these in foil. I don't know why. But I really like this art, and I want it in foil. Let's see. Which Verena is this one again? Oh, this is just another Verena Arcs. Okay. Yeah, so this is just another one of the ones we got from the free card, which is fine. I like this. That's kind of cute. The dogs and everything. Let's see what. Let's see. Where does it say? Does it say which nation you're from? Just so I can know whether I care about your existence or not. It doesn't really. I mean, I know it still does on the card, but unfortunately I can't see it well enough. But I think it's United Sanctuary anyway. Okay. So, let's see. Next card. Don't know you. We just got the big Verena, which is good. This unit gets plus 5,000 for each of this unit's original dress. So basically, for those of you that don't know, original dress is basically the fact that you use overdress multiple times on top of one another. So basically, you could, you know, overdress Trickstar with the grade 2 Verena, then overdress again with the grade 3 Verena. That's how that works. He gets bigger and bigger for each one. And then his ability. When the attack of this unit in the overdress state hits, counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and stand this unit. This is the Verena where things start typically going sideways. This is where this deck really kind of gets its big, beefy, kind of scary cards. So those are the ones that we're looking for. I think we've got one more. I think this is the last pack. Now we're gonna check your comment, because I see your comment. We're gonna get to you, I promise. I'm gonna go back and look at that. Oh, I think that's an over trigger. I'd like. Do we get two of the same things? No, we didn't. That's interesting art. That kind of reminds me of the what's the Yu-Gi-Oh card? It kind of reminds me of like the Ash Blossom in Yu-Gi-Oh. Just has that same vibe. That's not a bad thing. Okay, so yeah, this is the Dragon Empire. Ooh, my voice cracked a little bit. The over trigger for the Dragon Empire, which again, cool because we got a foil one. Alright, so it's additional. Essentially, these cards are. You have an additional effect, which you only get during drive checks. I forgot to explain that. So this one's additional effect, in addition to the 100+ million. Choose one of your Vanguards and stand it. So essentially, this, like, put this in like, you know, for premium, put this in a Dragonic Overlord the Purge deck, and watch people cry when you get 10 drive checks. This makes people upset. Because again, 5 drive checks, you're gonna hit this. People are gonna cry. Unfortunately, we won't be doing those kind of shenanigans in this game because no premium. Which again, not happy about. So when we want to do premium videos and streams, we're still gonna go back to Cardfight area. Yay. Happiness. And then we get a preview of all the cards we've gotten. But let me check these comments real quick. Yes, Dragonic Overlord is in overdress. Yes, Dragonic Overlord is in overdress, so is Phantom Blaster Dragon, so is Blaster Blade. All of those are converted to overdress format. So yes, you can still use all the vintage legacy decks that you loved from 10 years ago. You're going to pay $10 for each one of those you want, on top of the $70 you spent for overdress. So, again, ask yourself if it was worth it. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if it was worth it. Alright, here's where we're going to blow all of our money, because I want sleeves. I like the fact that they're sticking with a lot of the, just like the vanilla kind of sleeves. I like these. Unfortunately, currently to me, that's just a giant white sleeve. There's nothing on that to me. That's what happens when you have a cataract, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so just your typical units. Looks like there's a lot of sleeves, so that's good. It means I get to be extra broke. And they're 500 VP apiece. Unfortunately, I really only care about character sleeves. Now, this one right here we may... not this one. This one we may get. I like that art, but we'll see. Probably get this one for, you know, obvious reasons. For research purposes. Purely research purposes. Number 2, you get the sleeves from the anime, which, you know, I like these. Good designs. I guess the sleeves from, like, some of the upcoming episodes that we haven't really seen much of yet. So, I like these. I really like this one. Again, unfortunately, for me, right now, this is just a giant white sleeve with a little bit of red tinge to it. I can't see it very well. But see, there's your Dragonic Overlord sleeve. There's your Phantom Blaster sleeve, and your Majesty Lord Blaster sleeve, and your Blaster Blade sleeve. I'm assuming this is Blaster Dart. It is not. So, is there not a Blaster Dark sleeve? That would be insulting. Though I like these, again, research sleeves. I like the 3 down here. What are these? The clan flags, right? I like these. Those are nice. More of the... I think these are like the teams from the anime, right? So I like these. Yeah, I think those are like the character sleeves. But now here's some of the... I think these are like the DLCs. Yeah, because I already paid for these. So that's why they're free. So we're going to go ahead and claim all of our free stuff real quick. Which, let me see, was the... No, you still have to pay for the Overlords and Blaster sleeves, but you don't have to pay for the character sleeves. That's weird. But you get your Aichi sleeves, so we're gonna purchase our free Aichi sleeves, because that sentence exists. No, it doesn't. Free Kai sleeves, yes, give me, thank you. Ren, take those, thank you. Our Chibi Aichi, we'll take that. And our Chibi Kai and our Ren. Yes, thank you for letting me purchase free stuff. even for a store owner, that sounds weird. Alright, I want to look at playmats, because how would playmats work? Oh, I like the first one. 3,000 VP, though. I don't know if I like them that much, but look at this. That's sick. Just outer space look with, like, comets raining down. I like that. That's kind of sick. I guess this is supposed to be like some kind of like giant lava thing, maybe? Fireball thing? Again, unfortunately, because of my cataract, I can't see some of these very well. Okay, I thought these were lightning bolts looking at them, but they're not really. I mean, I think they might still be, but that looks pretty good. Okay, those are like vines or whatever for like Magnolia themed. I like that. Okay, so just the typical hexagon playmat. Okay. I guess this is going to be like for the Chronojet deck in a couple of months. I like that. I think that's just too much going on that playmat. That would be very difficult for me to look at for long periods of time. I like that, like a night-themed stars. I like that. That looks pretty sick. Like I guess that's like the Deer Days, like promotional mat. You probably can buy that in real life. I like that. Okay. Oh wait, you know what? We're gonna go back in. Because I want to see, do I have to buy a free deck? That better not be the case. No. Okay. I was about to be upset if I have to buy a free deck. But it definitely did not give me the option of using deck edit. So learn more about deck building. You can choose cards that you want to remove from the storage at the top of the screen into the deck at the bottom. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. I like deck on top, storage on bottom. That's gonna feel funky. That's gonna feel funky. I don't know if I like that. You can set your ride deck by moving your cursor to the cards and pressing 2. Okay. You can search for cards from your storage by using the text search and filter function. Okay. Press C to show more details about the card. You can check the number of cards for each grade and each type of trigger from deck data on the bottom left of the screen. Okay, yep. I like the look. It's clean. It's simple enough. I like the way it looks. If there are cards that you do not if there are cards that you do not own yet, they will be displayed in the message on the bottom. Excuse me. Okay. Deck must follow below rules. Exactly 16 trigger cards. You need a space there. How do you mess up a graphic? Like, this has to have been... this graphic has to have existed for a couple years, right? Like, how do you mess that up? Put a space there, people. Like, this isn't even as simple as patch it. This is go get a better picture. Exactly 16 trigger cards in total must be contained. Okay. Look, Bushiroad, hire me. I'll make this sound reasonable, okay? Deck must contain exactly 16 triggers. That's all that I had to say. Each cards with the same name can be contained up to 4 in total. Okay. Look, watch this. Watch this, guys. Decks can only contain up to 4 copies of any one card. Look, we basically cut that sentence in half. Each of Heal Trigger or Sentinel card can be contained up to 4 in total. Okay, that should just say only 4 Heal Triggers and Sentinel cards can be in a deck. Simple. Half of my gameplay is just going to be me critiquing this stuff. And I'm sorry, this triggers me. Especially if you're going to charge me $70 for this game. Each of critical, draw, or front triggers can be contained up to 8 in total. That's right, I did forget they did change it where like you can't run 16 crits anymore. Which is, again, that's kind of dumb. Only 1 over trigger, yes. Why is the ride deck rule in red? Because I can't barely read this. The ride deck must contain 1 unit of every grade from grade 0 to grade 3. Why did that need to be in red? If you're done, press B to save it. Meanwhile, you can also create a deck easily by using the recipe of a pre-built deck. By selecting Load Deck Recipe in the Deck Creation menu, you can create a deck based on the deck recipes you've received. Again, creation menu, that is 2 words, Bushyroad. 2 words. Pretty sure you learned how 2 words worked in kindergarten. You can use it as is or make changes based on it. You can use it as is or make changes based on it. It's a convenient function to make use of. Yes, but reading your translations are not convenient. Not to mention, gonna give me a migraine. Alright, I want to attempt to create a new deck. Load deck recipe. Why is there no... People, please. Please be reasonable here. Create new. I better see some Overlord cards in here. Alright, so we're gonna go Dragon Empire. And I better see some Overlords. Because I bought the DLC. Like, there better be some Overlords in here. It's clear that you recognize that I bought the deck because you gave me free sleeves. Because otherwise, like, do I have to get to a certain point before they unlock? That would be dumb. But I think I do. Well, I mean, at least I think. I mean, that's what this looks like. Like, I see no Overlords here. Like, there seems to be no Overlords in this picture. And why am I seeing the same overtrigger 4 times? I understand, I think, like, what? You're supposed to have, like, a foil one or something? Okay, so this is confusing. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out why we don't have all of our decks. But until then, we're gonna edit this deck. Actually, you know what? Um, I want to keep all original decks, right? I'm probably going to end up deleting some of... Well... No, because what we'll do is we'll do this. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're going to do this. Load the deck recipe. Load that one. Yes. And then we're going to edit that one. Oh, you can actually move them around. Okay. Edit deck. What do you mean CP hold? What do you mean by that? Now, why am I seeing these cards when they're not in the same nation? That's what I'm saying, guys. Like, this, some of this stuff hurts my brain. Alright, so here we're gonna... I don't know where my cursor is. Okay. You're just a grade 1. Alright, so basically we're going to look for our vanilla 2s here, and that's where we're going to take stuff out first. Are there no vanilla 2s here? I mean, I get that we're probably using these as a way to take a place of a grade 2. Surely not. Okay, so that's your perfect guard. Okay. Oh, well, technically, yeah. Technically, the order cards are taking place of grade 2. Like I said, I don't like order cards. So we're going to take one of you out. Oh, it's V to take it out. Okay. Alright, so we're going to confirm that I'm selecting the right one. Building a deck may be a little difficult for me right now. Alright, so we're taking one of you out for the big Verena. We're probably going to have to do this, aren't we? Okay, well that's a vanilla. Oh yeah, we do have to also find room for these. So, and how many of those did we have? 3 at this point? I mean, because I don't think that order is important. I think I can play just fine without it. Now, chances are I changed my mind later, but I just don't think I need it right now. I think that's it, right? I don't really care about changing up our trigger lineup yet. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see. Overwrite. Yes. Alright, I'm going to look, see. Now we have full access to the menu. I want to see. Okay, so sound. Yeah, so guys, if like the music is a little too loud for you guys and it kind of, you know, messes with how well you hear me, let me know. We'll fix that. Text speed, auto text speed, skip events, cut-ins, effects, vibrations, confirmations, difficulty. Pretty much leaving all of this on. English, that just should say bad English. Brightness we're leaving alone. I might toy with that to see if that helps with my eyes a little bit, but for now we're leaving that alone. Not bothering any of that. We'll leave that on because we will publish decks later. What I want to know is why are you not letting me have access to the free decks that I bought? I'm getting testy. Alright, so let's go on to our next fight. And yeah, we're basically, I think like the first couple, you know, these first fights are just the same story stuff all over again. And like I said, you know, I'm not going to read out all of the text. I'll go slow enough because I'm going to have to read it. You guys will probably be able to read 3 times faster than me because I'm having to read with a bad eye, so. I'm not going to read it, but you guys are welcome to read it, and then we'll kind of go through this together. Like I said, I do want to try to enjoy the story. We'll do more serious speed-through stuff, you know, much later on. Again, I will reiterate my point. The music in this game is amazing. That is straight fire. Just kicks in with the bass like that. Give me just a second. Let me take a sip of my drink real quick. Okay. Here we basically have your, you know, your usual Aichi plot. Kid gets his card stolen. You take it back. We're gonna basically use our modified deck here.
よし始めようか
I get to go first this time. Ugh, I don't like this background. Alright, you go back. Let's see. Perfect guard. You go back. And you go back, because we're looking for a 3 here.
スタンドアップヴァンガード
And we didn't get it. This is a draw. No, that's a heal. Okay. I think we can discard one of the Verena here. Nah, we'll go here. There's no reason not to, really. Let's see, we're going first, so there's no reason to do anything else.
スタンドアンドドローライドスキル発動ヴァンガードに当たる
No guard.
ド
No
ライ
point in trying to block that. D skill. I was gonna say, like, if you give us our over trigger again, I'm gonna be very upset. I think we drew one just now, so there's really no point. Overdress. I think we just go for combat here. I don't think we push it. Let's hold Verena off, because Verena gets a 10k, so.
ノーガード
ドライブチェックドロートリガーパワープラス
ダメ
I
ー
think
ジ
we drew another Verena here.
ヴァンガードにアタックスキル発動パワープラス
No, we're not going to activate the Soul Blast. But we'll take an easy 30k attack. It's not the push for 3 that I would have liked here, but... And I don't think they were in a position to be selfish.
ヴァンガードにアタックだスキル
Yeah.
パワープラス
Yeah, there's no point in blocking that.
ドライブチェック
I wonder if the game will actually let them hit triggers yet. Well, that's not a trigger. That's not what I want to see.
ヴァンガードにアタック
I think we have to let this one go, too. Because I don't want to lose Verena's here.
ダメージチェッククリティカルトリガー
That's also not what I wanted to see.
クリティカルプラスパワープラス
But this is me in a nutshell. Alright, so yeah, from the right deck. That's our perfect guard. We'll discard that. We don't really have a choice. Alright, what do you do again? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. We'll, yeah, why not? I'll get our last Verena out of the deck. Call of Arena. Now we're just going to go to combat. Again, we're going to play like we have a big brain. Alright, do we push? I don't think we push here. I don't think we push for damage here. I don't like push here. Please give me another Nirvana. Did you? You did not. You selfish, selfish game. We're gonna give power to our Nirvana. Over here, the overdress one. Because we're gonna play Vanguard the way I play Vanguard, and we're gonna use our guy to poke at his rear guards. I do very much like the deny resource game. Alright, so now we're going to go here, here. We're just going to take away that possibility. Activate our Verena's ability. No skill there. Because that'll come in handy on a later turns. I'll check your comment in here just a second. I promise. Alright, while we're letting him do his turn, because I really don't care what he does. From what I've heard from other streamers, opponents don't start getting consistent triggers until you're like 3 or 4 hours deep. Well, that sucks. That genuinely sucks. I like a challenge. I mean, granted, I can't compare myself to, big name streamers, but you have to understand, I'm a player that has competed at Worlds. I'm very good at what I do. We're at 3. You know what? I'm gonna take a chance. Show me crit. Show me crit. You deserve it. Nope. Okay. You've lost my respect. But going back to what I was saying, but I'm a high-level competitive player. So to then say, hey, you don't get to, actually play a legitimate game of Vanguard for a while is rather insulting. Okay. So you're trying to big brain me, and unfortunately big braining me doesn't work. You're a draw trigger, right? You are indeed. Get out there. I only need 5. I mean, look, I'll take it. I love Vanguard, so pretty much no matter what, we're going to be playing the crap out of this game. And I'll get my competitive games out of my friends. So, no matter what, Do we call final turn here? I think that would be hilarious, but I think he has too many cards. He can still take a hit, so I don't... If we had our big Verena, I would call final turn here. Maybe we draw it here because we do draw a card. We don't get it. But what I do get is this. You definitely don't let me do this. Because this is a dangerous field. This is... Somebody's got a big peepee. Alright. Alright, we're going to pretend that we're going to hit a front trigger here. We're going all in on the Vanguard this turn. We're going to make him respect us this turn. Yes, we will activate. We will make him respect us. Because I will take away his rear guard and hit him for big numbers. Damage to heal. And we're going to give it to this Verena since he doesn't have power. Oh, wow. See, like I said, guys, we're playing big brain. Alright. I'm going to need you to take a 55 to the face. Because we both know you're not blocking that. And the fact that you did not perfect guard my Vanguard tells me you don't have one. So, big PP damage. Verena, please. Activate your skill. Go to 55. And then we're going to have this Soul Blast and this Soul Blast. Get rid of your rear guard. Ooh, he did have enough. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. But again, I smell blood in the water. You're down to 2 cards in hand. Do I say go for it? Do I say go for it? I say go for it. I mean, like, I'm not in a championship situation right now. I can say I have a big PP. Go for it. Show me 2 crits and you deserve to win. Show me 2 crits. You can't do it. You lose. Oh, that's nasty. You don't even get the chance. You don't even get the chance, bruh. You don't even get the opportunity to put me at 5. No, 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 no. See, I can't let you do that. But see what I can do. I only need 5 to block you, so. We're gonna do that. Come on, give me my big Verena, just so I can... Well, actually, first off, we're going to do this. We're going to do the nasty. Hit him with the final turn. Select a card to ride? No, we will not. But we will move this to front. Then we're going to overdress. Activate his ability. Counterblast 1. Alright, do we draw Big Verena? We did not. So what happens when you only have one in the deck? Alright, do we have a grade 1 that we can just slap down, like, comfortably? Are you a draw? No, you're a front. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Alright, we're going to play you there, just because technically that becomes a 10k boost. Alright, I'm coming for that. I'm coming for that sweet, sweet victory. My Vanguard will finish this. And by the power of Nirvana, give all of my overdress cards 10,000 power. Yeah, sorry, bro. You're lethal. Nah, we going for the guillotine on this one. There ain't no amount of power in this world that's saving you from me. Wait, no. I want to go for this one first. GG. Yeah, you're not blocking that. You like drive checking that? Well, actually, dude, bro, we both like drive checking that 3. Alright. So when double trigger, attacked with 50,000 or more power, successful final turn, did a persona ride. 8 turns passed, did a superior call, retired 5+ opponent's units, one with 10+ cards in hand. That's me. That's me in a general nutshell. I play decks that don't draw, and yet I still draw. Draw 3+ times in 1 turn. Did a persona. Okay, we already said that. Okay. And again, we won't always look at those. I just want to see, like, consistently what numbers I'm hitting. Alright, before we continue, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, and we'll be right back. So, what we're going to do, if I can find my mouse, is we're going to put up this lovely little screen right here. And we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, we're back. Oh, I gotta click back in the game.
ちょっと
約束だ。
Yeah, give me back that over trigger that's incredibly busted because it does everything in the game. That card might as well say additional effect, get wrecked. And that I just come up with off the top of my head. Yeah, that's right, you heard her. Or him. You lost against a person that's quote-unquote playing for the first time. But not really, because you're playing against me. And that's a recipe for disaster. You didn't have amazing cards in a trial deck, shut up.
お姉ちゃん
どうし俺は降りる。待てよ。おい。もういい。だと待てよ。
ねえすごいよどういうことねえそうだよし私に任せてちょっとね僕はえなんで
悪かった。豪雪だって。おい。
そんな
頼む。お願いだ。
Alright, now we get the D skill Lightning Spark. And you get a copy of his deck. Okay, so let's see. I don't remember. I think you get this skill. Yes, yeah, because this basically guarantees that you always get to go first. And see, and then, again, this is like that kind of an effect that I don't like, because then it's just, hey, let's just go build this deck that prefers to go first. And then play with this skill, so you just have an innate unfair advantage all the way through a story. I just, like I said, I'm sorry, I don't like it. It's cool, but... Alright, so... Store... Shop. Free verse. Okay. Yep, we're gonna go there first. Because I want more points. I want to beat you a second time. Can't accept the outcome of our duel. What is this, Yu-Gi-Oh? Alright, go with our modified deck again. I guess second. Okay, so you go back. You go back. And you go back. I almost did the wrong thing there. So I don't think we got anything great. No, we just basically got another one of our vanillas. Yes. Yes, we will. We'll basically just discard that. Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Because we're going first, right? So, let's just do this. Yeah. Battle. We should hit a draw trigger here. So I just don't like the idea that I can predict, hey, I'm going to hit a draw trigger here. That seems like a good time for a draw trigger. What did I even get? Nothing. That's lovely. Yeah, I'm not blocking that. You're choosing to play very passive, and that's never gonna help you beat me. I lost a Verena, but that's fine. I like the fact that the game kind of instinctively knows where you intend for them to go. Alright, so what do you do on rearguard again? During the battle, this unit attacked. This unit gets 2k. Okay, so essentially nothing. You don't make magic numbers in this situation, but I like going aggro here because he didn't. So just a full front row of this chick. I'm just gonna go all in here. Again, we're gonna attack with the assumption. No. Attack with the. No. Attack with the assumption that we're gonna get a front trigger. Probably won't. Probably just get a draw.
ドロートリガー
Yeah. Now it doesn't matter.
パワープラス
That's magic numbers.
ダメージチェッ
We're probably going to push to 3 damage here.
ヴァンガードにアタック
17. He's going to block.
ヴァンガードにアタック
I imagine he takes this.
クノーガードダメージチェック
ターンエンド
俺のターンドロー俺の切り札ライド
I don't even think we play Verena next turn. He's not playing aggressive enough.
コールヴァンガード
Yeah, this is literally just demo all over again. He's not going to make this difficult at all.
ノーガー
We just don't block any of this.
ドライブチェック決着をつけろアタックだ
ダメージチェック
Lost to 3, but that's fine.
ガードにアタック
You know what? I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
ノーガードダメージチェック
In no legitimate world am I not okay with that.
私のターンドローこれが私の切り札ライド スキル発動
See, I just don't like am I not supposed to be able to I thought I was supposed to is it just no, because I can't choose this Verena either. I thought it was any Verena. I'm gonna have to read that card again. One Verena. I mean, okay, maybe the card's named different. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't think so, but maybe I am. Who knows? But we're still going to just go to combat. We're not going to push anything here. But we are going all to the face.
ヴァンガードにアタック
We are not. So we don't have any overdress.
ドライブチェックヒールトリガー
We do get to heal. So there's that.
パワープラスドライブチェックこれで終わりアタック
ダメージチェック
ヴァンガードにアタック
ノーガー
Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put him at lethal. Alright, now you've got to block me every attack.
ヴァンガードにアタッ
Have at you.
ドガード
ターンエンド
俺のターンドローコールスキル発動
I'm sorry. Is that supposed to scare me? It doesn't.
ノーガード
ドライブチェックドライブチェック
I forget we did get the actual Dragon Empire Overtrigger. We need to put that in the deck after this.
アタックだ
Alright, excuse me. We don't get to heal this time, but
パワープラス
ターン
私のターンドロー
I don't even think we push for game this turn. I think we just go. I think we just go. I mean, he's got to block everything.
Vanguard にアタック
ガード
ドライブチェックドライブチェックフロントトリガー
I was gonna say you're gonna be mad when I. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be big sad when I hit that over trigger.
ヴァンガードにアタック
ガード
ヴァンガードにアタック
ガードだ
Sorry, I think we've got final turn next turn.
発動パワープラス
Oh no, you killed my rear guard.
ヴァンガードにアタック
Prepare to incorrectly perceive how much I care.
ノーガード
ドライブチェック
Because I have big PP energy.
ドライブチェック
And you do nothing.
アタックだ
ダメージチェックオーバートリガー
Really? Well, I guess your turn. Well, that was okay. See again. Ooh, 100 million power, but his turn's over. Really? He'll just be like, huh, I'm impressed. No, I'm not. Ride this card.
ペルソナライド
Alright, we're going to do something I shouldn't do, but I want to just for fun. We're going to move you up. Let's see, you are the Verena that gives me 2 cards, correct? Yes.